This video we're talking about how we can improve our iPhone videos with different angles, which is the perspective in which we see the subject from our camera and will be impacted by the position and the height of the camera relative to the subject. The point of view can affect the audience's emotional connection with the subject. And even in this case, it's super important to identify our subject and choose the background. Changing the angle will allow us to decide what's going to be in the frame and what's going to be out of the frame. If your subject is a person, it's good practice to ask them how they would like to be conveyed and whether they have a preferred angle. Most of the people usually they ask you to stay a little bit lower because this will make them look slightly taller. But I prefer a slightly higher angle to have a more defined jawline. The first angle that I want to show you is the most natural one and is eye level. Usually people take out their phone from their pocket and they just start shooting like this. Being a very common angle is not as interesting as different angles, but again, it's super versatile and can be used in any situation. Now let's see an eye level angle in practice with Caroline. So come with me.
But I still try to knock me down and I still climb. I can see the promised land right over the hill line.
An eye level angle is something very easy to explain because we got her eyes and I'm on the same level with my iPhone. So in this case, I'm deciding to have her on a medium shot like so, and then I'm deciding to not showcase much of the surroundings. This might be a problem because we are in a very, very interesting place. With this angle, I can't really show much. Maybe I can move a little bit on my left to showcase a little bit more of the greenery. If I go a little bit on the right, I can start showcasing the church behind and a little bit on the fountain. So there's nothing wrong about this shot, it's totally fine, but it's a little bit neutral. Maybe we can try different angles to make it a little bit more interesting. Because we have the amazing sun pole in the background, I can try to have a low angle and try to have that one in the frame as well. And this looks amazing already, and I think much more interesting than it used to be. Now I'm using the 1x camera, but potentially I can also use the ultra wide in case I don't want to cut the tip of some pole. And now we have a wide shot where we can see the full body of Caroline and the full sun pole. But let's say I want to use the 1x, well, I can maybe take a couple of steps back, and now I can go even lower and stay extremely close to the ground to reveal the whole sun pole and Caroline in the front. And this looks pretty amazing. I'm very happy with this composition. At the same time, with this low angle, I can try to move around her. Or maybe I can try to have the full tower with Caroline as well. I'm gonna go low and tilt up my iPhone. But if I don't wanna have a tower, I just wanna have the sky, well, let's rotate a little bit more, just like so. And then we have Caroline in the frame with just the sky. And I'm really happy as well with this framing. While on eye level angle, she looks natural, when we are lower, her legs look a little bit longer, whereas her upper part looks a little bit shorter than what it actually is. We can notice that she's still looking down on us and therefore looking a little bit more confident, a little bit more prominent, and sometimes can also come across as intimidating. Whereas an eye level angle makes things a little bit more neutral. But what happens, for example, if the interesting part of the background is not above her, but below her? Well, in this case, we'll need a high angle. And in this case, the subject can appear a little bit weaker, but we'll be able to show the interesting elements behind her.
What you want, what you need.
When shooting people, you need to be a little bit careful shooting high angles because they might look a little bit shorter. I prefer this angle because you're gonna have a more defined jawline, and in case you have a double chin, you can hide it a little bit better. So now let's have a look at a practical example with Caroline. If I want a high angle, I'm gonna slowly move up and tilt down the iPhone, and then I'm gonna just rotate around and showcase to you that based on the position, based on our movement, we're gonna showcase different elements in the composition. Now, because I'm using a high angle, I'm showcasing the fountain behind her. Now let's go a little bit wider. We're gonna do a couple of steps backward, and I'm still gonna be a little bit higher, but this time the effect is a little bit less dramatic because we moved away, even though we're still higher than her eye line. We can notice that she looks a little bit shorter comparing that if I'm gonna go very, very low where her legs look way longer.
Looking for the exit, right? Speed past the cars on the left-hand side.
While in all the previous angles, we shot with the horizon straight, now with this fourth angle called Dutch angle, we're gonna try to rotate the phone to one side. This creates very engaging and dynamic clips, but it can be disorientating if you overuse it. So now I'm framing Caroline in my video, and now because we have the horizon straight, we're just simply using a low angle, but if I rotate my phone, there you go, now it becomes a Dutch angle. That's it. I'm not moving much, but if you want to make the clip even more dynamic, we could add a push in or a pull out. So let's try to add a push in right now. I'm gonna start straight and then I'm gonna push in and rotate a little bit like so. I can see Caroline's full body and then I push in and rotate the phone at the same time. I love it. When choosing which angle you want to go for in your clip, it's really important that you consider the final result that you'd like to achieve. As we've seen, different angles might convey different messages and different emotions. Do you want to showcase the environment in a normal way? Maybe you can go with an eye level angle. Do you want to go very dynamic and create something incredibly interesting? Well, you can try with a Dutch angle. It's really important that you practice all these different types of shots, because sometimes you might think that a low angle could look good in a certain situation, but when you try it out, you're not really convinced. So maybe in that case, a high angle would work better. It might be challenging, but the key here is about practice. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to see you in the next one.
This preview of the iPhone Video Academy offers a sneak peek into the incredible world of iPhone videography. Get ready to unlock the secrets, techniques, and skills that will transform your videos into works of art. But wait, there's more. In the full course, you embark on an immersive learning journey covering every aspect of iPhone videography. From mastering camera techniques to refining your editing skills, the iPhone Video Academy has it all. Don't miss this chance to become a true iPhone videography expert. You'll find the link in the description right under this video. Click on that link to find out more about iPhone Video Academy, and I'll see you inside the full course.